Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Detour. We're normally live, but we're not live this time because we've pre-recorded a couple of interviews with some superstars in women's cycling. Johnny, some interesting chats we've got on the show today.
Yes, well, it's been quite a big day for Australia cycling too, as with what's going on with Team Bike Exchange around the world. So I'm looking forward to talking to some of our leading female cyclists, two of the superstars of Australian cycling.
Yeah, and that's of course Grace Brown, who won DePanne the other day, and Sarah Gigante, who's finally racing in Europe. But before we go to Sarah's interview first, Esteban's back, the smiling Colombian kangaroo, winning a stage overnight at Catalunya. We were only talking to Whitey a couple of days ago, and I think one of the fan questions was asking about Esteban's form, and Whitey explained how he'd been over to Colombia, and it's just great to see him back on the top step, Iffy.
Yeah, look, two great stages in a row. I mean, the stage he won was fantastic, but the day before he got second, and I think that was just as good, if not better, because he was really closing on Adam Yates, and so he looked super strong. So two big days in a row. And it really bodes well for him for this season because, look, he really hasn't done in the last 2 years anything what we'd expected of him. You know, he was heading to be one of the superstars of the Grand Tours, but through injury and sickness, he just hasn't been able to get there. But hey, he's back.
He's back. We're going to have to get Esteban on the show. Probably leave him alone whilst he's at a race, but as soon as Catalunya's finished, we'll get him on and talk about his career and where he's at. But he's always good for a chat, old Esteban. And I saw on Twitter some people were, when he won, were wanting to go back through the archives and have a look at some of the old backstage passes. And on this program, we talked about that famous stage when he made up a minute 30 on Contador. At the Vuelta, I think it was 2016. That's been taken down off YouTube, Iffy. So,
really?
Yeah, I think it must have been music rights or something back in the days when I used to pirate whatever I could.
Really?
I think spewing.
It was a wonderful segment too, because it really did exemplify the best of what any cycling team could do. Just the raw emotion in all of that. And I loved the old sheriff, the way he played that one very well. But anyway,
Damien Howson's right. But anyway, we'll try and get that up in some capacity on some platform. We'll work it out. But let's get straight into the interviews. And here's our grab with Sarah Gigante we recorded a little bit earlier.
So, Sarah, you've finally got to get to the big time in Europe, which has been held up for nearly a year with the pandemic. Mm-hmm. What was it like to finally get there?
Yeah, it was awesome. It felt really, really special to line up with my team again after over a year. So, yeah, I was back racing with Tivco Silicon Valley Bank, which was super cool. Just the feeling of having your team around you. And, yeah, we all went with a shared goal, it just felt surreal to be back doing what I love. And, yeah, racing in beautiful Italy was a fantastic way to kick things off. I've never raced there before. So, yeah, my first European World Tour race, and it was so fun. I really loved the course.
So, Sarah, what was your plans originally last year? Obviously, the pandemic hit, but did you have a plan to sort of slowly introduce yourself into sort of European racing?
Yeah, so I had a good plan. I was going to go to Europe at the start and then go to America, race some of the American season there, so some of the tours there, some American crits, and then head back to Europe for the final couple months of the European season. So it would have been a good mix. And I feel like America is a nice stepping stone between Australia and Europe in terms of racing, like the bunches in particular, but also like the speed and power of your competitors. So yeah, that would have been nice, but instead I'm kind of avoiding America this year because I don't have much racing and just going all in for Europe, which is also exciting.
I don't think you need a lot of stepping stones, Sarah, but anyway, we won't go there. But what was it like, though, getting from Australia to Europe when you went, I mean, it hasn't been easy to get out of the country. What sort of process did you have to go through to get out?
It was actually a bit stressful because I only just found out from my team, I think on the Monday, they sent me my flights for the Saturday. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do so much. So firstly, like the travel exemption, it's not too hard, but I was just stressed that I wouldn't get it back in time. So a travel exemption from the government to say that, yes, I need to leave the country for work. And then I also had to organize my PCR testing so that I could get onto the flight, which I actually messed up the date of, which was so stressful. So I had to get like a priority one because I thought you meant to get it like 40 hours before, but it was actually like more than 48 hours. But then it has to be less than 72 before arriving in Italy. So I don't know how that was all meant to work. So I ended up just like super stressed on the Friday, like ringing, will you give me my result back by tomorrow? Because I really need it. I can't leave and I don't want to tell my team that I've messed this up. So yeah, that was all stressful. And then I'd actually forgotten to get my UCI license, so that's another thing I had to do. Yeah, it was all a bit last minute. And then I decided to drop down to part-time uni because by that stage I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind in everything. So I'm just going to try and do what I do well rather than trying to do everything okay. So yeah, it was a busy last week.
Was there many people on the flight? Because I've heard stories like I think when Durbo flew over, there was 2 people for the entire plane. I think there was 13 staff for those 2 guys.
Yeah, I was in economy, but it felt like what I must imagine business feels like because what do they call it? Air hosts, the people helping, they would come around and ask individually what drink we wanted with our meal, that kind of thing, before the meals came out, which is not how it normally works in economy. And I had my own own rows, so just stretched out, which was nice. I slept really, really well on the flight because I think it was more than 2, maybe 10 for the first flight out of Australia, the long one. That was great.
Yeah, gone are the days when you're sort of sitting on that row just praying that guy doesn't come on to cram you in like sardines. And it always used to be with 10 minutes to go, just do my head in on those long hauls. Yeah.
And he weighed 24 stone. Yeah.
That's he was dripping in sweat because he'd run to make the flight. But, yeah. But it must have been a relief once you finally landed. How do you find even things like training out on the roads in Europe?
Yeah, training's fine. I found actually landing a bit stressful. Coming from Australia, where we're really lucky to have pretty much no community cases, and then suddenly I landed in Italy, and yeah, no one was obeying the social distancing in the queue, and I'm like, honestly, like the queue's not going to move faster if you stand like literally on top of me and like coughing onto me and everything. So I really didn't like the airport part of it. I was a bit stressed there, but once I got out of the airport and into the team environment, it's been a lot better. And I mean, it does feel strange and sometimes wrong to be out like racing and riding all the time, even if we're in our so-called bubble. Like we're in regions that are in lockdowns and red zones, so it's a bit strange. Like we went to Paris-Roubaix. Well, that's not the place, but we did the Paris-Roubaix recon yesterday and they were in lockdown, so it did feel a bit a tiny bit uncomfortable to be just like riding around having so much fun. And the poor city that we were in had like 130% capacity in their ICU and no one was out on the street apart from us pretty much. So some things are a bit odd, but it is like selfishly it's really nice to be racing my bike too. So yeah, I'm not sure what the right reason is.
Now, I'd have loved to talk to you shortly about your Paris-Roubaix recon, but first we need to touch on the Alfredo Binda, the World Tour race. There you are, nice photo of you up there. Now, they were raving about you in the commentary on the television, which was fantastic to hear. And I watched the replays of the race. Man, you were right there at the point end. So take us through it, because it's a big race, and you were the leading young rider, which you are now wearing in the World Tour. So tell us about the race. Take us through it.
Well, actually, I have to just correct that because that's no longer true. I think DePanne, which GB awesomely won yesterday, that was so cool to watch. The rider that got second, Emma Norsgaard, she's now winning the
Okay.
young
Yes,
rider
sorry, Sarah. Our
tour.
research on this show again is not cherry ripe. But for
Yeah,
a period there, you did have it.
I did.
Yes.
I didn't get to race
Yeah.
in it, but I had it.
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty cool. So yeah, Binder was so cool. It was basically like one long lap with the longest climb was on that long lap, but still ages from the finish. And then after that, 4 finishing circuits of about 17 kilometers each, and they each had 2 short, like really short climbs, maybe like 3-5 minutes. I find that too short. But yeah, it was a really, really cool course because if you look at the race history, anything can happen. Like big groups sprints have happened, and Corinne Rivera won a few years ago in a massive sprint, and then Kazia Neudoma's finished solo there, and then often it's also just like a reduced bunch sprint, so like no one knew what would happen at all, and I liked that. So yeah, my goal for the long lap was basically I wanted to get to those final laps with the leaders, so then I can see what I can do after that. So my DS also wanted me to try to get in an early breakaway on the long climb. So I think Brody Chapman, also an Aussie, we had the same idea. I reckon I covered like 15 moves over it wasn't like up the climb. Up the climb was fine, but over the top, there was like 10K of rolling hills before the actual descent, before we dropped. So yeah, Brady and I were covering all the moves there, trying to get in an EB, but I think SD Works always seemed to be chasing it down. So in hindsight, I wish I didn't spend so much energy trying to get in a breakaway because it's kind of seemed destined to fail now that I think about it. But I made it to the front. I made it to the final laps, like with the leaders anyway, just in the bunch. And then, I guess it was a bit of a race of attrition after that. I tried to stay near the front for our team had like the key points. So basically turning into those 2 short, sharp climbs each lap. And on I think it was the second last lap on the longer but flatter climb, I was in second wheel, and I was like, man, Ruth Winder from Trek, she's going pretty hard. Like, this is actually starting to hurt. And I'd been feeling like really strong on all the climbs. I was like, man, she's climbing well. And then I look behind me, and we have a gap to the rest of the field. I'm like, oh, that's why it kind of hurts. Like we're riding off the front, and then suddenly Ruth like stops. So she'd just done it like a massive effort to a certain point on the climb, and then I'm like, oh, what do I do now? Like, my lead out buddy's gone. And then her teammate, Taylor Wiles, suddenly like semi-attacks over the top. So now she's going max. So I jump on Taylor, and I'm still second wheel. And the peloton, I think they got back to us with Taylor's attack, but they were all like super strung out. So I was like, man, this is so good. Like second. Next minute, I think, I'm not sure who it was, but someone in the move that went hit next. So I'd gone with Ruth, and then I'd gone with Taylor, and then next minute from behind. So I kind of wish that I was actually paying a bit more attention now. Like I was just like, oh, this is so cool. Like, second wheel. And then suddenly like boom, from I don't know, 10 riders back, or I don't know, they were just going a lot faster. By the time they got next to me, I was like, oh my gosh, there goes the move. So it was really cool. They're trying to go at the climb after them. I was a little bit off the split, which is so annoying, but I went past Lucy Danyan, and then I was with Spratty and Ashley Mullen-Pazio, and I think a Movistar rider. We were in a little chase group of 4 over the top. So it was like the leaders, and then a small gap, annoyingly close, and then us 4, and then the peloton was behind. Unfortunately, we didn't work very well together. So we didn't catch the leaders, and we instead caught by the peloton. But it did feel really cool to me. Like right there, I looked across, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Spratty. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Ashley. Like I was racing her on Zwift, and I've been, Spratty's the Aussie hero for all of us junior riders coming up. So that was super cool. And then the last lap, it was really annoying. I think we were all banking on SD Works bringing the breakaway back, because they've won nearly all the races this year and they weren't in the winning move. So I only had one teammate there, and I think Spratty didn't have any teammates until Lucy got back a bit later. So everyone was kind of just waiting for SD Works, and they tried, but I don't think they had their like A team there. I mean, A plus team. They always have an A team, but they didn't have their ace squad. So yeah, it was a bit annoying. I tried to attack on the last, both of the last climbs, but didn't get anywhere. And then we just sprinted home. And my teammate came 16th, which is a good result for Lauren. I think that's her best there, which is cool.
What's the main differences you find from racing in Australia to once you get over to Europe?
Definitely the bunch size, and everyone's more fierce in the fight for position. So yeah, really, I was proud of myself that I actually did get to the front for the 2 like turns into that short, sharp climb. But it was a lot harder than, say, that nationals or NRS or even like a club men's crit. Like, well, I don't know if the men are just being nice to me, but they're so much easier to push around than these World Tour women. Are just, they're brutal. Like, I'd much rather take on any of the A grade men for a wheel than these women. They're fierce, I'll tell you that.
Well, how do you go with that being such a nice person? I mean, you'd have to get a bit aggro once you hit the cross the white line.
I definitely, I'm very, very competitive, but I have to work on my, elbows out. Although because I broke my elbow a few years ago and I got surgery, I do have I don't know what's in it, titanium reinforced elbow. So maybe I should use that nice pointy elbow.
Oh yeah.
That sounds that's a dangerous. I love that. Now, your Tibco team, American team, but they're not World Tour, so that means you don't get to ride all of the races, and of course you missed the DePanne, the Bruges DePanne just yesterday, as we spoke about. So, what are the big races coming up? Which ones are you getting?
Actually, we're really lucky because, well, not lucky. I guess my team earned it last year while I was in Australia. They did really well. Yeah. So even though we're not World Tour, we actually get invited to pretty much all of the races because we have a good UCI ranking. I think we're 14th or so. So I don't think we actually wanted to do DePanne just because of the kind of course it is. And we don't have the biggest squad here, so we kind of have to pick which races suit us, or we'll all be racing every day, all the time. So, yeah, I mean, we have a great team schedule. I think on the schedule, we have Gent-Wevelgem this Sunday coming, and then Dwars, Van Vlaanderen. Oh, this is really going to test my pronunciation, and I'm so bad at these races. But anyway, then Flanders, and we were going to do Paris-Roubaix, and then that one that Grace won last year, and I told I know the name, I know how it's spelled. I cannot say it. And like P-I, okay, I don't even know how it's spelled. P-I-J something.
Bill's Appeal or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not going to say it because I'll embarrass myself. And then, the Ardennes is what I'm most excited for. We've got all of 3, so Flesh, Amstel Gold, and Liège, Western Liège, which is so cool.
Fantastic. Oh, fantastic. That is sensational. Now, tell us about your recon of Paris-Roubaix. What did you think of it?
All I can say is that I'm less disappointed that it was cancelled than I was before because I need more time. I wasn't on the roster anyway, to be honest, but I need more time to practice my cobbles before I go do a muddy Paris-Roubaix. Maybe in the dry would be fine. Like, it wasn't, the gaps between the cobbles weren't as bad. Like you always hear people going, oh my gosh, there's like tire whips between every single cobble and you're like destined to crash. But it was just my rookie mistake. I went around the corner, like right into the mud, right through the mud. And then I was like freaking out. So I stopped pedaling, and you should never stop pedaling when you're going slowly on cobbles in the mud.
Yes. So what have you heard? What we're reading is that, it came out, the major papers were saying that it had been definitely cancelled, postponed till October. But now the minister has come out and said, well, it actually hasn't been cancelled yet. So officially it hasn't been cancelled. So what's the latest you've heard? Yeah,
we've heard the same thing. So everyone thought it was officially cancelled. And then like 2 hours later, it's like, oh, wait, it's actually not officially cancelled. It's just like doomed. So we're all, I mean, we haven't taken it completely, like it's gone, but we're trying not to get our hopes up, if you know what I mean. Like, because it's quite likely that it'll be cancelled. But yeah, I mean, we can hope. But yeah, again, the ICU in the region was 130%, I think, when I checked last, which is pretty awful for the region.
Yeah, for sure. So where are you going to be based this season, Sarah?
Girona, hopefully. So after Liège, I'll head over there and hopefully get some of the Girona QOMs. I think they're the most hunted QOMs in the world.
know the place very well. Lived there for 4 years and couldn't speak Spanish by the end of it. Hopeless.
They don't even speak Spanish. I picked
that's
Spanish
right.
at uni. Yeah, I actually picked it at uni like 2 years ago because I'm like, oh, I want to be a pro cyclist one day. This was before I was pro. I want to be a pro cyclist and live in Girona, so I'm going to learn Spanish. And then, like, after the whole year, so I did both semesters of Spanish. And lucky I love languages anyway, and I probably would have done Spanish anyway. But yeah, it took me a year to realize that they don't even speak Spanish in Girona. So good intentions.
You get away with English. A lot of finger pointing. Always go to restaurants with menus with photos, and you'll be fine. There's no drama. Well, if you could pick one race over the next sort of 2 months that you really, really want to do well in, what would that event be for yourself?
I think Liège. I've heard it's the hilliest of these Belgian races, and I'm only doing Belgian races for the next 2 months, unfortunately. I really loved Italy, can you tell? Bring me back. 2 months, March, April, May. Oh, Thüringen starts in 2 months. So that's a cool tour that our team's hopefully doing in Germany.
Okay.
So, anything. I think I can't be fussy. If you look at my results on pro cycling stats for Europe, they're not very good. So yeah, I'm not picky. I'll do well anyway. Sorry.
So the women's Giro, which I think is during the Tour de France in July, is any chance you'd be riding that?
Yeah, our team is scheduled. We've got our invite to the Giro, which is so cool. So yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully we get to race. I get to race.
Well, you've got a pretty busy period coming up, and we appreciate you coming on the show again, Sarah, and wish you all the best for this big block of races. It's exciting times.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm really excited.
We'll definitely touch base with you again during that time, because I know that we're going to see you at the pointy end in one of those. So we look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Thanks for all the support.
Good stuff.
Okay, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye.
Fantastic chat with Sarah. Iffy, it's that time of the show where we're going to run through the sponsors, and let's kick things off with Let's Go Motorhomes.
Yes, let's go Motorhomes. Well, why not holiday in Australia and they're Australia's best motorhomes and campers? They love helping people to have incredible holidays. As one of Australia's leading motorhome and camper van rental companies, they have vehicles to suit all types of travellers for all kinds of adventures. And you can be sure they'll go the extra mile to make sure you have the best road trip of all time. Travelling Australia in a camper van or motorhome is truly one of the best and safest ways to experience everything our amazing nation has to offer. Self-drive trip helps to set up the freedom and everything you possibly need. And there are 5 tips to make the most of your motorhome experience. Plan, 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 and plan. Well, something I'm not very good at. I love the spontaneity. I got the word out this time.
You wrote this script though, didn't you?
I know.
So why would you throw in the big words? Just KISS method, mate. Keep it simple.
It's a word that I use. I actually pirated
you use it, but you can't say it.
I pirated it off their website. But anyway,
okay.
When it comes to adventures, traveling around Australia requires planning. So especially during peak time. So the thing is, the people at Let's Go, give Andrew a call. He's the boss in there. And they will plan. You just tell them where you want to go, and they'll set it all up for you. I know a lot of Europeans would come over and come into Let's Go and say they wanted to go to Ayers Rock and to the Barrier Reef. They were going to drive to all of that in about a week and a half. They didn't realise quite how big Australia is.
No.
But at the moment, it's all Australians who are doing all the hiring, so at least they know where they want to go. But the gang in there will actually plan your whole trip. So just tell them what you want to do, and they're fantastic.
Yep. And Jayco?
Funnily enough, all of the Let's Go motorhomes are Jaycos, made by Jayco. You wouldn't credit that, would you? Eh?
No.
But Jayco, Australia's leading caravan company, and going gangbusters at the moment. I mean, everyone's getting out and holidaying around. I think it's 10,000 back orders at the moment. That's how popular they are. And so, if you're in the market for a caravan, you would naturally go to Jayco, Australia's biggest. But if you've got the slightest interest in cycling, it gives you all the more reason to go to Jayco, because they've been supporting cycling for a quarter of a century. So I think cyclists should get in and support Jayco.
Yep. Jerry's given a lot to the sport. If you want a caravan, give some back.
Exactly.
All right. And if you do like a tipple, where else to go than Mitchelton Wines?
Well, one of Australia's favourite wineries and a place of escape. Experience the history, the beauty, and the serenity of the Goulburn Valley at your own pace. Look over the vineyards from the iconic tower, stay in their new magnificent hotel, relaxing by the pool, recharging in the day spa, exploring the seasonal menu at the Muse, and stopping by the Providor and touring their cellars, and of course tasting their signature wines. Recharge by the day and night in their amazing spa, and you can get the best massages of all time. I had one there about a month or so ago, or maybe 2 months, and yes, I can smile on my face just thinking about it. And of course, it's become renowned as an amazing venue for weddings and that special function. There's a happy couple right there. And so offer unique spaces for the weddings. There's a wonderful area outside overlooking the Goulburn, which is just staggering. But there's also, you can get married underneath the big tower, down in the cellars. There's wonderful options to host your major functions. And of course, if you go down into the cellar, you can go and see the world's largest private Aboriginal art collection. It is just amazing, absolutely glorious. And there it is, the old $10,000 Land Cruiser. It's a Cruiser with the 4 million euro paint job.
4 million. It's bounced around. I think it was 4.33 the other day, but it'll bounce back. Might even get to 5. Now it's time for a quick word from our great mates at Bike Exchange.
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match, but not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Thanks again to our great mates at Bike Exchange. They'll be up and about, Iffy, with the results over the last couple of days for sure.
Yes, and
what are you eating?
No, just having a little snack in between things. Yeah.
As soon as it comes, I was like, right, I've got a minute. Stuff in my face.
Well, I had a sugar meltdown a couple of days ago or yesterday, so I didn't want that to happen again. I had a fade out.
Okay. All right, mate. Well, we've pre-recorded this interview, so you didn't have a fade out for the grab with Grace. It was actually quite funny. So let's cross to that interview we did earlier now. We're joined by Grace Brown, who's absolute superstar with Team Bike Exchange and has come off the back of winning DePanne. Now, back in the day, I remember doing DePanne with the men's team. It was a 3-day race. It's now a 1-day race. And you've gone out, attacked 10K to go, and you've held them off. How do you feel?
I still can't quite believe it, to be honest. Like, It's not a breakaway riders race, really. Like, it's always a race for the sprinters. So, I mean, it was my only chance, so I tried it, and I got lucky.
Now,
Yeah, it was interesting. I loved the race, and I couldn't see all of it. Unfortunately, it wasn't all on TV here, but I watched all the highlights package, and just it was an amazing race. Actually, it just things fell in your favour in that it was so hard and it split so much with the winds and everything. And in the end, that small group, there were a lot of sprinters there, but they didn't have teammates to help them. So that turned out to be a perfect move of yours at 10K to go.
Yeah, I sort of read that the group that I was in was starting to be a little less cooperative coming towards the finish. So, yeah, I thought that perhaps they wouldn't be so organised in chasing if I attacked. And, yeah, some of the sprinters had teammates there, but, yeah, it was still just, a couple of girls that were willing to chase, not the whole group. So that really came in my favour.
we're seeing this quite a bit, even in the men's races. The rider that has got the swingers to make that brave attack. Particularly when you get teams that are looking at each other and they can't coordinate the chase. I mean, and you look at results last year as well. Are these some of the best victories? Those ones where the unexpected, when you can hold them off, get to the line, and just go, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah, totally. I think like if you go into a race thinking that you're, number one favourite and you've got a plan of how you're going to win it, then when you win it, it's sort of like you've already done it in your head, so it's less exciting. But this one, like, completely unexpected, I think. And it was just, I'm still trying to get my head around it. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did I was talking to you off air. You're staying at the Leppel Bed, which is a big favourite hotel of the team over many years. Did you get an extra bowl of soup on the back of your victory?
Yeah, we usually get soup every night, but I didn't get a bowl of soup last night. So
no,
a bit ripped off.
Well, I famously made a lasagna for the team that year, and I think 70% of people got food poisoning, so I was banned from the kitchen. Yeah. It was a famous chicken lasagna, so I think particularly in COVID times, they probably clamped down a fair bit.
Yeah, I don't think we want food poisoning around here.
No. So, what's your schedule looking like, particularly over the next couple of months?
It feels like quite a short, fast spring compared to, last year it was just back-to-back racing at the end of the season. So this feels a lot more relaxed. I've got Ghent Wevelgem on the weekend, and then the following Sunday is Flanders. And hopefully after that we've got Roubaix still on. But there's a bit of skepticism about whether that's going ahead at the moment. And then, I'll race Amstel. That will be Mayo in the Ardennes.
Iffy?
Okay. What about, you're not doing Liège?
No, not at the moment, unless something changes in the team. I'm not racing Liège, which is a bit sad, but
very strange. You went second the damn thing last year.
No, I'm a little bit sad, but things still could change. I wasn't meant to race it last year, and I ended up being there and getting a result. So maybe I'll be there this time.
I would think. We'll have to see what we do about that. We'll have to see.
Well, maybe you can write a letter to our sports directors.
You'd be surprised the amount of power that Johnny Giroux has behind the scenes. Just send us the race calendar you want for the rest of the year. We'll get it sorted. No dramas whatsoever.
Whatever. You're going to cause trouble here, Jones. Now, you didn't mention the Brant's Appeal, which you won last year. You didn't mention that. When does that slot into the?
Well, maybe I will end up doing that because it's meant to be after Roubaix, so I think it was a little bit too close to back up after Roubaix. But now, if Roubaix doesn't go ahead, I might do Provence. which will be fun to line up as reigning champ.
Yeah, for sure.
You obviously got super form again, Grace. How are you feeling confidence-wise coming into this year? Well, particularly after the results the other day, you must be up and about. But are you going in with a different mindset from last season?
Yeah, I definitely have higher expectations on myself. Like, I know what I'm capable of now, and want to do my best at every single race. But yeah, these Belgian classics, really, like, you can never be too confident because so much can happen in them. And I've still got a lot to work on, in terms of making the race easier for myself and not wasting energy where I don't need to. So even if I feel great, in my form, there's still a lot of other factors that aren't quite certain.
What are the?
I was going to say, have you noticed just treated with a bit more respect in the peloton now?
Yeah, definitely. Like, from the last couple of races at the end of last season, I started noticing a different sort of feel riding in the peloton, and a lot of the girls know who I am now, and just a bit more respect. I mean, it's never easy to move around the peloton, and no one ever gives you a wheel for nothing. But there has been a change.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking to Sarah Gigante, and she obviously had her first race in Europe and was just super excited. And particularly for these young riders, is that the biggest thing with the evolution of your career, learning to, as you said, how to conserve energy and not cook yourself throughout that race?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, you can be there's so many riders that are really, really strong, but they never make it in the race winning moves because they've spent energy in the wrong places, or, you're out of position. And you can only make up so much of that by being strong.
There was a lot said a couple of weeks ago, just off topic, about the team announcing that they're going to be paying the women minimum wage to match the men's. That was obviously something that must have been pretty positive story for you guys, given that, it should be the norm. I mean, John, you put your hand up saying that you were the first race to pay equal prize money back in the day?
The Bay Crits, of course. Yes, glad you put that in.
Not always having sharp dicks, but it must have been good for the group.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely a positive energy in the group, and a lot of the girls feel really valued by the team now. It's an awesome step forward for women's cycling. I mean, really, it should be the case from a long time ago, but the sport's not that old for women, and we've seen a lot of progress in the last couple of years, and I hope that it continues to progress in that way. The salaries across the board begin to look a lot much more like the men.
Yeah. And hats off to Jerry Ryan, because he was the first World Tour team to start a women's program, and now I think he's the second team to do this parity with a basic wage. So look, it's fantastic. But you just touched on something then on how the pro women's racing still in its infancy in lots of ways. I've just noticed in the last 2 years how much better the racing is itself, better to watch, and just the coverage on television now is so much more, and the feedback, social media, people are much more interested in the women's races, especially in the last 12 months.
Yeah, I mean, I think the racing's always been pretty exciting, but definitely having more broadcast and better broadcast. Like, a lot of the races in the past just had, some guy on a moto filming us from the back of the peloton with no commentary, and now we have a proper setup with helicopter images and multiple cameras in the peloton and proper commentators explaining the racing and knowing the riders. And yeah, it's really exciting. You get to know the individuals in the peloton, and I think fans are a lot more engaged.
You mentioned that you got Gert Welvingham on the weekend. What are you expecting from that race?
Yeah, it's a good race. It's another one that really changes with having a bit of wind. There's some hilly sections in the middle, but it usually splits up with good crosswinds. So hopefully we get some good Belgium weather again on the weekend, and we'll see some similar racing to yesterday.
And unfortunately, I saw Jess Allen broke her collarbone. Was it? So she's going to be out of action for a while. And was there another rider that crashed as well?
Yeah, so Jess came down, broke her collarbone. She's getting surgery today to fix that up. But she seems in good spirits, which is nice. It's a bit of a mixed feeling when you have teammates come down and hurt themselves, and also winning the race. You're sort of celebrating, but also it's a little bit down at the same time. And yeah, Sarah Roy came down sort of right before the decisive move happened and ended up in a ditch and got prickles all over her and fell in some water. So that wasn't such a good day for her either.
She's okay. She hasn't got any injuries out of that.
Yeah, no, just bit of stinging nettle and prickles all over herself, and I think a bit of Belgian swamp water. So hopefully she doesn't get sick.
No. Well, anything you want to add, Iffy, before we let Grace go?
Well, I have woken up in a couple of those brackish Belgian side waters in the past, but that's for a different reason.
Don't tell us anymore, John.
No, we're not live, but you can just sort of end it there, Johnny.
Look, it was fantastic to spend some time with you ladies in the summer at the end of the Nationals and that. We had a wonderful cruise up the Goulburn with Jess, as you just mentioned, and Sarah, who are out of action now, and yourself. We had a lovely day. And I would love to be able to get over there this year. I'm still sort of trying to twist a couple of arms and to get over and as team mascot and to go and see a little bit of the women's Giro and the men's Tour de France, but we'll see what happens. I'm working on it.
Well, hopefully you can. It sounds like the vaccine's being rolled out pretty quick in Australia now, so hopefully you get that and jump on a plane over here.
Well, I'm in the old farts. I'm an old fart, so I'm qualified to get the vaccine right now. So,
what are you waiting for? Get your jab and get over there. You're in charge of all the race programs now as well. So
yeah, social director.
That's right.
We need a bit more fun over here. It's all business at the moment.
Well, what's the COVID restrictions like around where you are? Because I used to love just going for walks down, get the triple fried chips. You wouldn't really have as much freedoms as you used to.
No, it's a lot less fun than usual. We're sort of stuck in the team bubble, and it's basically just a race, train, eat, hang around level bed. And then, like Belgium in general is tightening their restrictions as well. So basically all restaurants and everything are closed. You can still go and get takeaway, but we're not really meant to.
Yep.
So what's the vibe with these races? Even though the racing's fantastic, the coverage is fantastic, there's hardly any crowds because they're not allowed. So how does that feel for you? Do you miss that? Yeah,
I think, there's still the diehard Belgian supporters that sneak out onto the course and managed to cheer us on, but I don't think they're meant to be there. But yeah, I think really at the finish line you notice it mostly. Like especially yesterday, winning, you sort of come across the line and then there's just like only staff there. There's less of that sort of buzz, which I think is a bit missed. But yeah, the rate, it doesn't change the racing. You're in race mode and you're going for it just as hard as you would regardless of whether there are fans or not. But yeah, it would be nice to have everyone there.
And have you got aspirations to be at the Olympics this year with the road team?
Yeah. So I'm aiming to be on the team for both the road race and hopefully the time trial as well. Yep. Yeah, and then also the World Championships this year are in the Flanders region here, so that's another big goal.
And is there any update regarding the Olympics? I think they should be pretty much good to go, you'd think.
Yeah, well, they sent the torch off, I think, a couple of days ago. So that's looking good. They've announced that there's definitely no international spectators, which was expected. But still all seems to be going ahead.
Johnny couldn't help himself. As soon as you mentioned the torch.
I got my torch.
Oh, wow. You must be very important.
I ran with that in 2000 in my old hometown of Morwell, which was fantastic, actually. It was a wonderful opportunity to do. It's actually the reason I gave up smoking. I remember it was in the 2000 Tour de France, and when I came back from that, I knew I was going to have to run with the torch. So I thought, I better give up the fags. And I haven't had a cigarette since. So there you go.
There you go.
Years.
You wouldn't think being a professional cyclist would prompt you to give up smoking, but carrying the torch does.
Go figure.
Hey, Grace, you can come on the show anytime. Your form's sensational on and off the bike. It's great. Oh, good. Well, we really appreciate you being on the show, Grace. You've got a big block of races coming up, and we'll do everything we can to make sure that you're on the start line of Liège. Don't worry about
that. I'll leave it to you guys.
All right. Enjoy the soup at the Lettlebed and say good day to Bart and the crew. Hope they're all going well.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All good. Speak to you soon.
See ya. Bye.
See ya. That was Grace Brown. Sensational interview, Iffy. She's got a bit of cheek. I like that.
Oh, she's an amazing young lady and a seriously good cyclist who we haven't seen the best of yet. She is going to have an amazing year this year and next couple of years, I believe.
Well, it was pretty interesting when she said that she wasn't picked to ride Liège. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, she didn't quite say it that way. You're putting words in her mouth, but her program, they decided not to ride Liège and ride other races. But hey, she went second in the damn thing last year, and she's also not riding the Bronze Appeal, which she won last year. But she explained that because of Paris-Roubaix. But yep. I jokingly said I'll speak to those higher up, but they know what they're doing. But and they must have their reasons for it. But
yeah, that's right. Yep. Now, John, you've got a sale on. I think it's tomorrow.
The Bike Exchange have got a fantastic sale on, which you can go online,
bikeexchange.com.au, and look for Green Edge Outlet X Team Issue Sale.
Exactly. And it's going gangbusters. But tomorrow, anyone who's in the Melbourne area who wants to come out to Coast, so look up Coast to Coast. It's just off Cooper Street in Campbellfield, Somerton. And I think it's 10 o'clock tomorrow, 10 till 2 tomorrow. So get in there. There's some amazing deals going on.
Well, tomorrow, I suppose you need to clarify, it's the 27th of March. Because if people listen to this Sunday, they sweet, we'll get down there Monday. It's not going to work.
No, it's not going to work. Yes.
No. Right.
Too late, she said. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps another big show. We've got Tiff Cromwell lined up next week. So that'll be an interesting chat. And we're going to have Michael Rogers. We're going to get him on to talk about esports and e-cycling because it's absolutely gone gangbusters in the because his role, I think last time we spoke to him, was all about what he's doing with the UCI. So that'll be an interesting chat as well. So stay tuned for that. And to do that, make sure you like, subscribe on YouTube particularly, and turn on notifications. So when we do go live, you'll get a notification and you can join in the conversation on the show. Thanks again, Iffy. And we'll see you all again next time on the Detour.